everybody doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Just started my my winter break, so I've been getting straight to work. Got a lot of cool progress I want to show you. Some changes and tweaks I've been working on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into that, why don't we? Get my music at the right level. There we go. Okay, so let's turn on this, turn off this. Okay. And so I've got a different setup from last time. There we go. There we go. Just crop that like that. There we go. Okay. So I got my second monitor set up again, so reading chat should be a little bit more convenient than it was last time. Anyways, for the part that you guys actually care about. So, here is the hub area for the Snow Day demo. Called that just because it's releasing in winter. And it'll be played during the next fest. So February, again, winter. Fun theming for it, and should help make the demo stick out a little bit from the final release, which is something that I think is really cool. So here is a slightly different version of the tutorial room. Not crazy different, pretty standard. But what is different is the protagonist's room, which is now something that is established. I want to make it look a little bit more like he sort of hand-assembled it, but this is where a lot of basic functions will go, like changing difficulty, turning assist mode on or off, and viewing memorabilia. I've made some tweaks to the UI to make it just a little bit cleaner, a little more focused down. And this is now in a separate menu, just a little clearer, although this I want to add some custom graphics too to make it a little bit more interesting to look at, but works as it should. One change that I'm pretty excited about that's quite simple is something that's made for the difficulty change. So now you can see we've got these 3 different drawings of the protagonist in different states of disrepair, depending on the difficulty. And this little color difference isn't just for this screen. This will actually change your hand color when you're playing through the game. So that way there's like a clear, obvious indicator, and more importantly, I really like the difference this brings for when you're playing on Unreasonable. I think it's just a pretty cool visual difference. And that is also tracked over here in the mastery board. You can see it'll track your best time, highest rank, and if you've cleared the stage on Unreasonable or not. And this is just accessible from one place. And you can click on these, and if you've beaten the level before, then you can instantly teleport to it without having to travel to it in the hub world. So it's very convenient to use. You can track all your stuff in one place. It should be really, really accessible and make speedrunning the game even more convenient and fun to do. So just a really good quality of life feature. A bunch of small changes here and there that I think will be really additive in the long run. Anyways, how's everybody doing? We got Crystal Sword, Gremlin, Luke Peden, and Eliza Lark. How is everybody doing today? Okay, so let's go ahead and start by working on our new enemy. And he is going to be pretty similar to Voltaic Gunther, as a matter of fact. Somewhat. We'll get into that. So, start by making BP card counter. And actually, before we even do that, we need to get the sprites all set up for him. So, he is in Enemies, Sprites, Card Counter. Here we go. So, I've already got his sprites all set up, but we need to make flipbooks out of them. And how this guy works is that he will stand there with 2 cards and a stogie, and he will throw both cards at you, which will slide across the ground. Not really on the ground, but just low to the ground, and they'll move pretty quickly. And you can jump over them, but they're pretty wide. So that's the gist of this guy, is that you'll have to do a lot of jumping to maneuver around his card throws. Shouldn't be too complicated, should be a good introductory boss fight, or mini-boss for the first world. So, first thing we're going to do is grab these guys, these sprites here, and yeah, we're going to make a new flipbook called Card Idle, and we're going to set the frame rate to 7, so we get that nice little wobble. And then we're going to do the same for his attacking animation, and we'll make that also 7, maybe even 6. And then, just to make sure that this animation doesn't end too quickly, we're going to let it linger by duplicating the 2 and 3 a little bit. So that way we get that nice little wobble for a bit. There we go. And then we'll make a new one for the damage sprite, and this is just a static sprite, but having it as a flipbook just makes everything more consistent. And then we're going to grab his death sprites and make animation card die. Make that frame rate about 8. And there we go. Looks nice and smooth. So now we've got our flipbook set up, which are the fundamental things we need to actually make it work. And then, if we go over to BP card counter, see right now he is basically just a Voltaic Gunther, because I haven't set up his sprites and stuff differently yet. So, we'll start out by just taking this and making it card idle. There we go. And it already lines up pretty well, because he's naturally a bit taller. So that works out quite nicely. And I started by just copy-pasting Voltaic Gunther as a base, because Voltaic Gunther already shot 2 projectiles, so he comes preloaded with these 2 arrows here, which I will use to determine their coordinates in space, and that's where I will spawn the flying, like, card projectiles. I'm still here to protect Big Windmill. Big Windmill's probably not going to change much from this point. Like, maybe a couple of small tweaks here and there. Protagonist reveal? Oh, I guess I haven't really shown what he looks like outside of, like, the Discord, huh? That's very funny, because I'm so used to showing him, but I guess I haven't really, like, made a big reveal of it. Yeah, that's him. That's what he is. Okay, so working on card counter. I think we'll give him probably 20 health, just so he has enough tankiness to not instantly die the second that the player decides to shoot at him. Okay. So, first thing we're going to want to do is change some of his sprites around. So instead of VG hurt, it will be card damage. There we go. Okay, and then this will turn back to card idle. There we go. And we're going to need to make a new death sound for him, but we'll do that a little bit later. And then we say card die. This is pretty simple, just going in and updating places where the original stuff needs replacing. And where he attacks is when things are going to be a little bit messy. But we can go ahead and get rid of this flip-flop, because we do not need that, because he'll just attack all at the same time. And we'll set this to card attack. There we go. And we'll get a new custom like sound effect that'll play, and then we'll set that to card idle. So without getting too far into the details, this is a pretty simple like base code that I've used a lot for how characters work. Basically, it'll check to see if they can see you, like if they're looking at you, and then it will check to see if they're dead or not, and if they're on the ground. So if all of these conditions are true, then they'll be able to start moving to you. Actually, we'll get rid of that because we don't really want them moving. So if they can shoot you, and if they're not dead, then they'll run this little bit of code, which will basically spawn the attack towards you. It'll play the sprite, it'll set the right sprite so that way they do the little attacking animation, and then it will play their attack sound effect, and it'll have a short delay before setting their attack animation back to where it was neutral, say that they cannot shoot, have a short delay before they can shoot again, just so that way they don't constantly spam attacks out at you. Relatively simple. For you, it's a small change. For me, it's an entirely new route. That is fair. I don't think it's going to need much changes left at this point. The adjustments would probably be like minor replacement of like some of the trampolines, just because I feel like they are a little awkward, where they can just sort of boost you up and bounce your head directly into a wall, where I'd prefer to have smoother lines. So ideally, any changes I make should make speedrunning it more fun and smooth. Okay, so right now, he should be pretty simple. Yeah, he's just attacking us with a Gunther projectile, and he's going pretty quick. So, pretty simple. And we're going to make a custom projectile for him, so that way he does attack the way he should, but for now we're just worrying about getting the fundamental stuff in. So, we can go ahead and copy this over, because we want him to attack us with 2 different attacks. So we can grab left arrow and right arrow, and as a reminder, that's this thing and this thing, so it's spawning the projectiles right at those arrows. Gives us a lot of fine control over how we want to spawn those. So now, he should be attacking us 2 attacks at the same time, and if we stand in the middle, no, you cannot fit through those. Okay. Maybe? Ah, damn it. Okay. So, pretty simple. I do think we're going to want him to attack a decent bit slower. So let's just nudge that a little bit. He should be fairly aggressive, but we don't want him to be too aggressive. Okay, that might be okay. We can do some tweaking later if we need to. We are not... Why did I close that? We're not settled into anything quite yet. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is make a projectile. And this, we can just use a cuboid projectile as a base. Let me just call it BP card. There we go. And this works well because it's already a projectile that's just a big old box. So we can just shrink down the collision. And we're going to make it pretty thin, but, you know, card-shaped. And then the material doesn't really match. So let's just set it to world grid. There we go. And this is just a placeholder texture, so that way it has something. And if it touches the player, then the player will take damage, and it will destroy the projectile. Pretty simple stuff. But what we really need to change is the speed of it. And this is going to take a lot of fine-tuning. Let's start with just 2,000, see how that feels. Right, forgot I actually have to make him use those projectiles. So instead of using Gunther attack, set these both to BP card. Okay, hold on. Before I do that, what happens if he just spawns more card counters? This is a bad idea. I'm just curious to see what happens. Oh no! Oh no! There's too many of them. Oh, they're just all dying because they keep spawning themselves in the death plane. Okay, well, that was cool. Back to regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, there we go. Now, they're not really rotated on the right axis, but the speed's not bad. Size is probably going to be a bit larger, and definitely need to be low to the ground. So let's fix each of those issues one at a time. So let's move this down to, let's say negative 50. And we'll do the same for this one. So we want these to be jumpable. Okay, so he does attack so fast that if you jump over one, you're not really going to have any wiggle room, which is kind of interesting, but also a little frustrating. We might add a check for him to see if, like, he can only attack when the player's on the ground, although I think him being able to attack you in the air is going to make him more interesting to fight, so we'll probably just do some tweaking with the speed. Okay, so first thing we're going to do here, well, next thing we're going to do here, give that a 90-degree angle, so that way they are sent at the right size. There we go, yep. Okay, I'll make them a little bit wider, so that way they're harder to dodge. Because, like I said, ideally, these are something that the player is supposed to jump over. Okay, that's kind of good. Kind of fun. I think he's definitely going to need a little bit more help than that. So I'm up to 30. Let's make these even maybe a little bit bigger. This is kind of fun. I like this. It's a good fight. Okay, that's good. That's good. We'll do some tweaking on that, but that was actually very simple. Didn't think it would be quite that quick. And you know what? While we're here, let's go ahead and do a bit of texturing for his projectile, and this shouldn't really take too long. I don't imagine. Cuboid. Here we go. Yeah, we're gonna make a duplicate of this, and we're gonna call it Matte card. Go. If we look up card. Here we go. Alright, so we're going to give it an opacity of 1, so that way it's not transparent, unlike the other guy's attack. Give it a subtle grayish color. Something like that I think would work well. Maybe a little bit darker. Yeah, and then on this projectile itself, we'll add like a little card decal, like a diamond or something, just so that way it meshes better. But for now, we can give it matte card. This is a very simple material. It's literally just white. It is still opaque for some reason. Oh, it's because it's marked as translucent. There we go. Okay. How about that? There we go. Okay. I think I'll make these a little bit thinner. Whoops. A little bit thinner, not that much thinner. I'll shrink down the hitbox a little bit, or scale this up a little bit, and then shrink it down so that way it lines up more closely to the actual hitbox size. There we go. Yeah, it's a pretty fun fight. Feels unique, pretty dynamic. I do think for the first guy, for the first major fight, it's still definitely too fast. Especially considering this is at the end of a level. We don't really want to be too punishing with how difficult this guy is to fight. But, you know, maybe we could bring him back with a harder variant later. If we're feeling dangerous. Oh, so quick question for the audience. So I have been, you know, obviously streaming and doing game dev stuff for, how long has it been? Since April? May? Since May. I've been streaming since May. And it's been fun. I think streaming is a pretty fun little hobby thing. But I wanted to ask you guys, what would be fun, like, stream goals, basically? You know, not really stuff like, if I reach XYZ subs, then, you know, I'm gonna add whatever to the game. This is mostly just things that would be self-contained on stream, like something that I would do, again, on stream. But maybe something to do to, like, celebrate every once in a while, fun events, certain milestones, things like that. If anybody has stuff they'd want to see, let me know. I'm gonna do a Google poll or a forum thing, a Google Sheets, not a Sheets, but you know what I'm saying. Where I look for some more specific answers for stuff people want to see. But if you have any ideas now, feel free to let me know. Okay, so that was pretty easy. That was prompt. That was quick because I am a excellent game developer and I know what I'm doing. So, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the second part of today's objective, being the Windmill Arena stage. And if you're new here or unfamiliar, each world will have. Actually, I can even just show you. Going back to the hub world. Each world will have 3 main stages, and then a challenge level, an arena challenge, as I've been calling them. And it is a small-scale challenge that is focused on having, like, a high difficulty, high enemy density, but, like, being one big, unique, difficult combat challenge. So that's what we're going to be working on now. I added them when I started working on World 2, so I never ended up making one for World 1. So we're making one now, retroactively, adding it back in for this demo. So I did have one pretty fun idea before I started this. Blades, here we go. So obviously the unique kind of main gimmick of this world is the windmill blades. And the idea here was to maybe try something a little bit unconventional with the blades. Something like maybe this. Like the vision I have is that you're running along the outside of a windmill that's like toppled over on its side. And the blades are still spinning, so you have to, like, platform up to it and, like, on top of it and run across the blades as they spin. That's the idea for this challenge. Make a Gunther cake, big windmill cake, birthday stream. My birthday was 5 days ago, and I was gonna stream, but I didn't wanna. Build a real windmill. Okay. Well, first let's see if this functions. Okay, no, it does not function. That's kind of what I expected to have happen. Yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do is just make a different version of the windmill blades that spin on the correct axis. Probably a better way to do it, but these blades are just kind of extremely finicky and have been nightmarish in the past, so we're gonna take the easiest possible route out here. So we're gonna rename you to BP Sideways Blades. There we go. And we're gonna grab this rotating movement component and say rotate -20 on the y-axis. And let's just drop this in. And let's see what it does. Shit. What if we do 20 on this axis? Again. There we go. Alright, nice. I have noticed that the x-axis seems to rotate in a much less buggy way than the y-axis, which is very weird. Don't know why it works like that, but whatever. We take those. Okay. So let's start by establishing the foundation of our structure here. So let's make it pretty simple, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 across. Should give us plenty of space to work with. And then we put in the blades here. Move them up here, like so. And then let's set the scale to 4 by 4 by 4 for now. Don't need to do anything too crazy, I don't imagine. Something like that. And then we extend this out quite a ways, so we have some room to work with. And then, actually, let's lift this up a little bit, because something that I do for the other windmills, if we go back to the hub again for an example, is it has this little section up at the top where it's got the two lips up at the top and the bottom, to help make it feel a little bit more like a really structured building. So we're going to go ahead and add these to our windmill here. Oh, but before I forget, actually, let's make it a little wider. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll do. Doesn't need to be 100% accurate scale-wise, just needs to look accurate. Alright, and then we continue to add the lip all the way around the side here. There we go. Alright, pretty happy with how that's looking. Then we'll do the same just down here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Seen a lot of there we goes today. Alright. Cool. Now we've got that set up. So we can pull the blades up and across here. Move it closer to the middle. Alright, yeah, so we'd get something kind of like this, where we'd have maybe a ramp, runs up onto the blades themselves, and I am seeing that they're lighting up as if they're an actor, so I need to make sure that I exclude them from the checks for this system. Probably add a gap or something in here, so that way you can leave maybe some extra debris or rubble around here to make it feel a little less nonsensical, perhaps. Hey Ethan, how's it hanging? Happy late birthday, thank you. Make a copy of Big Windmill and rotate it. Not a bad idea. Okay. So let's continue to extend this out a little bit more. And I'm trying to think how I want to work this. Maybe something where you start higher up so you can see like the windmill being toppled over, and then you approach it, and then run across and have your combat encounter. Maybe some sort of more major enemy sitting on the blades here, like maybe we've got like a big guy or like a Steve and a Gunther hidden behind a Sheila or something. Maybe have some enemies at the end of each blade, perhaps. That could be fun. Okay, I got some ideas to work with here. Okay, so we're gonna start by adding just like a basic platform for the player to start out on. And this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Okay, it does look a little. Maybe I'll change the shape of that. Actually, it looks a little funny. Yeah, we'll just trim that off real quick. Let's have like a gap or something. Okay, wait. I got an idea. So we cut this part back a little. Extend this out more. Then build this up like that. Then we add a downward slope here. Then bring this out a little bit further. Okay. Then do the same here. trim these edges in so it looks just a little bit nicer. There we go. Alright, so that way the player starts up here. They can properly assess the situation before they approach, which I think will be a fun way to go about it. Just realized that this is not even at all. It is 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, 4, and then 1, 2... Oh, not even. It's just 2. Okay. So now we trim this in by 2. Trim this in by 2. There we go. Now we're centered. Okay, so we start up here. Run down here. Jump on across. Is this too high? Will this not bounce me up back up? It will not. Okay. Before I forget then, let's grab the death plane and pull that back up. So that way, if we fall off, it should bounce us right back up. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to extend this outwards so it looks more correct. Making big windmill a ramp leading to windmill deja vu. True. It is very big windmill-ish, but this is the windmill level. But it should definitely feel very, very different. Largely because it's not vertical, but also because of the fact that it's this nonsense. Okay. So let's start by just putting some enemies down and seeing where this takes us. Got no idea if this is gonna work or not, but it's too conceptually fun to not at least try this and explore it. I think even if this level kind of sucks, it'll be fun, just because it's such a weird, like, structure for a level. Can Gunther even shoot me while he's moving? You can definitely hit me. You outspeed your own projectiles, which is very funny. What does Jimmy do? Jimmy's shots keep getting blocked. Okay, that's interesting. Then what from up here? Oh god, it really messes with the momentum of their the attacks. Oh, that is slightly dizzying. Whoops. I need to set up some code for this. Let's go to, whoops, level 1-1, or 1-1 revamp rather. Let's copy paste this code. Go back to the arena, level blueprint. There we go. Nice. That'll be windmill arena. And to explain what I'm doing, this is a little bit of code that whenever you start a level, it will set the current level that you're in, it will set the times you need to beat to get certain rankings, and it will set the index of your current stage. This is just used to save the data of a completed run successfully, so that way it will properly update and log it. It's not the windmill, it's a cheap ripoff. Hey, this is the windmill levels. It's all thematically appropriate. Okay, and then in the middle, I don't know if we put any in it. Put anybody in the middle. That might be too much. I do think we're gonna put a trampoline right in here, and I think since we don't really have much use for the melee guys, I think we'll add a bouncer here and a slapmo here and see what they do. Oh, I do not have a nav mesh. There we go. Basically what just happened there is that you need this thing called a nav mesh, which will scan the geometry of your level, and it will make sure that it defines the space in such a way so that the NPCs can properly walk on it, so the enemies can use that. Because otherwise, the melee guys can kind of just sit there, but now with the nav mesh in place, they can actually figure out where they're walking and fight. Whoa, gosh. This is so janky. Oh, your momentum feels so weird when you're jumping on and off this. Oh, it's so weird. Okay, maybe I'll just slow the speed down on this one a little bit, so that way it doesn't feel quite as jarring. Because honestly, that's trying to like work with that and run against it is a little nauseating. Zeroes in on your location. Okay, yeah, that still feels like you're fighting against it a little bit, but it doesn't. It's not really as aggressive. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Feels a lot nicer. Okay, yeah, that works pretty well. Now it does feel a little bit too easy. So I think for a start. We'll put a Sheila right here. Since these two are a bit of a dynamic duo. So we'll grab this variable here. So that way Sheila will now put a shield around good old Gunther. So that'll force you to interact with that part of the level a little bit more. Should make it a bit more interesting. Now, Cuboid's an interesting one to have to approach, because his projectiles kind of just go off course, because they're so slow. You don't really have to worry about it with the rotation. Which is an interesting little dynamic. And then I'm thinking that you're going to have to ride one of the blades out to one last section. Maybe it'll be like you have to jump off into a launcher, and then that'll take you to one last section where you fight a few more dudes, and that'll be the end of the stage. Because again, this is an arena stage, not supposed to be anything much longer than maybe 20 seconds, but should be a high difficulty, very short and replayable fun mini challenge. Yeah, that works pretty well. Yeah, okay, I think this is working pretty well, as a matter of fact. This part does look a little small, so we're just going to expand that out just a touch. Right. Then we're going to add the lip back in one more time. Oh, I'm going to have to move the death plane back down, because it's so high that I cannot edit the, it's blocking me from editing the mesh anymore. Oops. Okay, there we go. And then we can grab the death plane, pull this guy back on up to where it should be, and we're in business. Yeah. And we're gonna go ahead and just cut a hole in this, so that way the player doesn't get stuck down there. Right. Then we'll add the platform the player will land on after doing this fight. Okay. And then I'm thinking, just to make sure we're using all of our gimmicks effectively, I'm gonna grab another trampoline here. So you jump off onto the trampoline. Will take you upwards. Should be, I imagine right around there would be a good height. Yeah, okay. So if I'm not explaining this, I'm sort of thinking through how I want this to operate. Okay, you'll land on here. Jump off, bounce up onto here, and then I think it'll have a super launcher or something that'll take you onto another platform right up top of this middle section. Clear out some last guys, and then get on the end. I'm sure these windmill blades won't cause any problems whatsoever. Yeah, it'll be fine. This keeps happening, I'm gonna drop out, I can't keep missing these. Like the new boss guy. Well, don't drop out just to catch these stupid-ass streams. Imagine jumping down and going inside the windmill. That could be interesting, but we kind of already explored the inside of the windmill a lot throughout all 3 stages. Like, thematically, it's pretty well expressed at this point, or pretty well explored at this point. Here's an idea. Here's a concept. Stick with me on this. But here's what I'm thinking. Something like this, right? And it's like, oh, the windmill blades are spinning around this like central pole. Something like that, you know? Yeah, that could be cool. And then we have the floating platform. Not just be a floating platform now, it's justified by this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, seeing this, the screen's doing the thing where it just likes to go black again. Get this one? Yeah, I got an alternate display capture. I'll put that one on underneath. That one can be a little janky, but I don't like when the screen just keeps blanking out. So still need to find a more permanent fix for that. Yeah, certainly a different, very interesting and different approach to it. Then we'll grab a launcher here, launcher there, and look at that, a perfect lineup. But just in case, add a little lip there, just to give a slightly smoother landing pad. Thinking we could put a Steve up here, put him in the corner so that way he can attack you on the way up. Do the same with a Gunther that you could shoot at. And then put a Jimmy right here on the approach, force you to be on your toes. And then we end the level, or exit level. No, what do I call it? End level, there we go. And then park that guy right in the middle. Alright. Should be a decent loose structure. Let's see how this feels, see if it needs some tweaking and adjustment, or if it's fun the way it is. I bet you could probably even just do like a little wraparound jump without having to even interact with that part. Okay, yep, pretty good length. Right around where I feel like it should be for these kinds of stages. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a little bug it has when trying to exit me back out to the menu yet, because it doesn't have a place it doesn't have a spot to put my player character. So we'll fix that when we get to actually putting the level in. For now, we can just put a player start in as well to dictate where we load the player on level start. So make sure that is centered. Yep. Okay, so it'll put us right here. Give it one more run through to see about some skips we can do. Shit. God, the momentum kind of throws off the way his direction of his shots. Whoa. No, I said whoa, as if I didn't know he was there. Nice. Okay, and then I'm standing on it right when I get the defeat, the kill. Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know why it spun me at that rotation. I'll probably want to do one of these for Jimmy, just get him out of the way. Okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty fun. Yeah, I like where that's at. I have to go to do work, but I'm digging the changes made to World 1 in the UI. Happy belated birthday. Thank you. Make it twice the size of Big Windmill. That'd be a good idea for the mini challenge stage, to make it larger than the biggest, probably the biggest level in the game currently. I might even add, yeah, I'm thinking maybe we get a launcher. And then put one of those right here. Something like that. Gives you a bit of freedom in where you want to land. Oops. Right, death plane. Okay, see if we bounce up back to safety this time. And we do. Just, it is a little bit tight, so we're gonna pull this up a bit more. So that way we don't have to just barely squeak back on. Yeah, there we go. Now it bounces us back up with a little bit more comfort. Okay, I like the state that this level's in right now. I think we will, I'll do some playtesting on that, and then I'll come back to it and probably do some tweaking. And ideally, I think I'll probably be doing a playtest tonight. Ideally, shipping this out to a few people to get some feedback and see how it feels, and just watch them play through it before I commit to anything. But the demo is coming along very, very well. It's really not that far from being complete. Although I did mention making a new stage for the demo. I have decided that I'm probably not going to do that. I just think it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to spend that time working on a new stage for a demo, when I should probably be focusing on making new stages for the actual, like, main game. Especially because working on this demo is already cutting into my development time for the 4th world. So, unfortunately, probably not going to be making the special snow day level, but I hope that the revamped theming and the new arena stage should at least make things feel a little bit more fresh. So there's a couple of small changes I want to make to this stage. I think for one, it does feel a bit too large. It being big isn't necessarily too bad because the actual area you have to progress isn't obnoxiously huge, but it does just feel a bit bloated in terms of its design in a few spots. Like sections where you just kind of have to run for a bit longer than really seems like it should be necessary. But like sometimes the scale works in its favor, like right here. Doing the big launch is satisfying. And like cutting through the blades is cool. Really, it's mostly here, and like here that feel a bit excessive, and up here too. I still want to find something to make this part more exciting than it currently is. Yeah, and I think I can honestly start by just trimming a lot of this section down. Like we can really just cut a lot of this, like, down in scope quite a bit. Yeah, like it does not need to be nearly as large as it currently is. Yeah, and we'll do the same for this too. Just crunch everything down a little bit, condense everything. Should make the level feel a bit tighter and less needlessly broad. That looks very nice. Thank you. I'll have to leave now. Alright, well thanks for stopping in Enceladus. Appreciate having you here. Okay. So let's extend this out so that way it matches the length of this section. And then do the same, but as a trim on here. There we go. Right. There we go. Then build this part of the ramp out. And then build this part of the ramp out. Okay. Okay, gonna have to fix that slapmost positioning. But I imagine that this should feel a decent bit tighter. The pacing and the structure of that should be a bit more slick. However, one thing I do want to change is I want to bring this guy down a little bit. Because I imagine, yeah, that feels pretty fun. And I also want to introduce that you can sort of do these, that sort of, like, fling yourself onto a slope and basically that kind of thing. So I think that, yeah, that just feels a little bit more intuitive, a little more smooth, on top of everything being a little bit more condensed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I like that, I like that. I think I am going to cut this down a little bit. Just add a little, add a divot to that corner there. Whoops. Okay, that guy just ran right off. I think this area might still even be too large. It's not quite as excessive, but it is still pretty wide, and I think it's so wide to the point where you kind of don't need to learn how to deal with the obstacle. So we're definitely going to condense that even further than it was. Pull you forwards a bit. Also going to pull this forwards a bit. Because there's a certain skip that I like doing on this map, where you do one shot and then get a boost here, and you can do this sort of like wraparound jump, but yeah, it still needs some more tweaking, because ideally, you'll be able to take this jump, smoothly wrap your way around into this building, and then continue on. Whereas right now it does feel a little bit sloppy in execution. Could do something like this, maybe? That might be faster. So maybe have something in there to encourage that route. Or just leave that as an option. Yeah, okay. Let's pull back a little bit further. Let's see how that lines up. So get bait him in. Then wrap around. Yeah. Okay, that feels pretty comfortable. And then we can also do this. Nice. Okay, that feels pretty satisfying too. So one part that I want to spice up now is this section here. Because you don't really have a great reason to go into this building. Which isn't great. I would like to probably put at least an enemy in there, but just forcing them to run into this building, it's not super interesting. So maybe we just keep it to the roof battle, but keep the indoor section, but not really make it mandatory. Maybe that'll work. Let's give that a try. Okay, so we got this part, and I'm trying to think of an interesting sort of skip we could try doing. Because as it is now, you can sort of run up to it, and then you can, do one of these or one of those. It's pretty basic. It's not the most exciting skip out there, so I think it needs something a little bit more interesting. What do we want to do with it, though? Maybe a launcher? Here's what I'm thinking. You could do something like this, then get your way up. Yeah, something like that could be fun. Whoops. I want to get the angle right, so that way it feels natural and you get a good sort of lineup. Like, that is really nice. Actually, I wonder, I got an idea here. Let's set ourselves up right here. So you do a boost here, then boost there, and then boost there, like that. That's pretty fun. That's pretty satisfying. Then it goes into this more cramped section, which I think is a good contrast from the rest of the stage. You can do a little bit of down boosting there to get yourself back to the ground faster. Wait a second. And then bada bing, bada boom. Okay, yeah, I think those couple of small changes made that quite a bit more interesting to play. I do think this part still feels too big, so we're going to trim this down by a pretty substantial margin. turn that part off. Okay. And you know what? I think we'll also do it to here. Oh, better idea, better idea. What if, instead of having a launcher, we have the super launcher? Because that way we introduce it even a little bit earlier into the level. Yeah, that should work pretty good. Yeah, that works really nicely. And one thing I'm thinking about is that the player's instinct might be to run at it like this, because they're sort of in this corner, and then to sort of send themselves careening off into the abyss. So I think that we might be able to help alleviate that a little bit by adding a wall here. Should also make the route just a touch bit more interesting. Do you die? He does. There we go. Nice. Okay, yeah. I think that that makes this whole section a lot more fun to play through. Okay, yeah, feeling pretty happy with how that's come together. Let's give it another playthrough, because I've made a bunch of changes here and there to this level, just off camera, and I've played it a bunch. And I haven't really been able to find a whole lot of issues that I actually want to fix. So it's feeling pretty good about the state that it's in. It's fun to play. The intended route is relatively simple. Does a good job of introducing you to all of the bad guys here. You get to do a bunch of small skips that are relatively more telegraphed, and some skips that are not really quite as telegraphed, but are still fun to pull off. So I think the main thing that I still want to do for the demo is the weapon rebalances. Primarily, I want to buff the fling and nerf the double barrel a bit. I think that those two are kind of the ones that need changes the most. Shotgun because it's too powerful, and the fling for being too weak. It's kind of a niche position to get in. Like, you have to press 1, 2, and 4. So it's not the most intuitive weapon to get to, and it takes some practice to be able to get to it consistently. And all that for a weapon that's kind of mediocre in terms of actual, like, functionality. So I'm probably going to make it just a little bit faster, do a bit more damage, and cover a bit more range, because I think that any more than that, it might be a little busted. But we'll see. Maybe projectiles are just a little hard to make super good, but I don't want to go too overboard and make it so powerful that it's like an over-centralizing mechanic, you know? I do think this part maybe is a little awkward, because you go up and then slam down and go up. It's not the smoothest experience, so I think if it still needs change, it's probably this. Yeah, because it's definitely not high enough to get us up there on its own. I'll keep putting myself inside of walls. Maybe you could do that, but it's not really worth. And not that it's not worth, but it's kind of expensive to have to do that just for a pretty minor skip in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, because this does feel a little claustrophobic. I guess because there's a floor here. I think maybe what might make this feel more natural is if it's something like this instead. So we move this guy up a bit. And this will be a good tutorial, actually, to teach the player to do these like mid-air collisions, because this is something that's going to be relevant to the next stage that isn't really taught yet. So I think that should be should be a good way to teach them that this is a thing that they can do. And you can even do this, and then boost on up like that. Or, if you're feeling really fast, you could do one of these. So go up, boom, boom. Okay, yeah. I like that a lot. That feels way more smooth, a lot more fun to execute. Okay. Good change. Just put an enemy that you don't have to kill to beat the level in the house. Yeah, maybe. Collecting my voids. Does the fling have a limit as to how far the projectile goes? Because it's basically a double barrel, knockback-wise, with more range. So it does just kind of send enemies up instead of away, but no, the projectile can go very far. The idea is just that it's typically more difficult to aim with a projectile. So you gotta aim up. Yeah. But power-wise, it's not bad. And it can do that. The only reason he got sent like that is because he was already running. It doesn't innate. It's like the uppercut. It just sends you upwards, at least for enemies that can be sent upwards. Although if I recall, I believe, yeah, that's something that I did want to do with the fling, is that certain enemies cannot be knocked around as easily, whereas the fling is the only weapon that can still do that. So it makes it a good specialist weapon, and in situations like that. Oh shit! I went too fast. No! Come on, get me up. Get me up there. No. Damn it. Okay, maybe we make this section, this wall, a little bit taller, so that way that doesn't happen again. Yeah. Liking that, liking that. It's good it only sends them up, because it would be a lineup hell otherwise. Yeah, I can imagine. I didn't, that was something I was thinking about, is that if it had the shotgun knockback angle, for one, it would make them feel too similar, but I don't want every, optimal route to just, devolve into a series of doing the long-range, double barrel shots. I would ideally prefer this to be, a good, mid-range approach tool, something you use to lead off a fight. Especially with a bouncer, because it means that you can immediately get them in a place where they can't really attack you as effectively, and then hit them with a double barrel shot to finish them out of the air. So it makes for a really good combo tool, and is even faster than the classic combo for dealing with them. That's the thought process on that, anyways, and it's good for these situations here. Okay, I think I'm on the right track, because I'm at that point again where I'm just not even, I just forget to actually do my streaming part, and just I'm having fun playing the level, which is a good sign that the level is fun. Because I just keep thinking about all the cool time saves they could get here. Whoa. Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. Liking the direction this is going. Yeah, feel pretty good about that. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of texturing. And I always forget what textures I end up using for these maps, so to have a reference, we're gonna go to Maps, Windmill, Generated. If we open up this guy here, it'll show us what the name is of all of our materials, just so we can have access to them and use them. Pretty convenient little feature to have. So we're gonna go ahead and start first by clearing up some of our top row here. I don't really need it to be quite as convoluted as it is. So we'll go to Attributes, Edit Materials. Oh, you know, first let's go ahead and remesh. There we go. To just make our texturing efforts a little bit more consistent. Okay, so first material we're gonna set is grass and dark grass. There we go. And now everything is a dark purple. So we'll go around and fix that where it needs to be fixed. So thing we're gonna do first is set areas that should be regular grass to grass. And if you're new here, typically what I will do is, whoops, I forgot to edit that. Actually, that's good though, because there's something else I wanted to change here before I forget. What I'll do is, I don't actually use lighting in the game at all. It just helps everything run faster, be smoother, which is always a nice thing. And I just think it looks nice stylistically. But I don't actually use any shading in the end result here in this level. What is output 2? Oh. Let's go ahead and re-add the wall there in this one. But yeah, what I'll do is I will take slopes in sections and take the underside of something and give them a different, slightly darker version of a pre-existing texture, just because the end result ends up looking a little nicer. It makes everything look flat and sharp, and it gives you a clear definition between where slopes start and end, which has come in handy quite a bit when trying to run stages and gauge depth perception. Okay, so first step here is select all of the sections that would need the regular grass texture, which is quite a few. And yeah, before I forget, actually, I'll need the top of these. I think this will use building textures, because this is like it's like a structure, you know. Yeah. So all of these will use the grass texture, and I think, yeah, those should be dark grass. So we'll assign those to dark grass. There we go. All right, and then we're going to want to add rock and dark rock, and those two materials are pretty similar in how we want to use them. Except this time, yeah, they go like here on the side of certain places. In fact, the side of pretty much everything, at least everything that's supposed to have this more naturalistic look to it. So we're gonna have to do quite a bit of selecting. I guess while we're doing this, another free opportunity. If you had missed it before, feel free to offer dumb suggestions. You usually ask for smart suggestions, but this is not one of those times. Of fun things to do on stream as like little bonuses for like hitting certain milestones. So while I'm doing this, I want to talk about some games I've been playing. If anybody here knows Peaks of Yore, very, very fun game, very cool game, very evil game too. It's quite dastardly. So it's a game all about climbing. It's a first-person like physics-based climbing game. It's very unique and very fun. A lot of people be like, oh, it's like a rage game, and I would say no, not really. It's not really a good way of putting it. It's much more like intentionally designed and like fun than like a lot of rage games would typically be. It only starts to get infuriating towards some of the later mountains, and even then they ramp you up to that difficulty spike pretty well. So I don't really mind it all too much. But speaking of that final mountain, there is a mountain in the game called the Solemn Tempest, and it is 7,500 meters tall in like real scale, like in an actual scale. So it is a realistically sized mountain, digital mountain, that is, I don't know if it's as tall, it's almost as tall, I believe, as Mount Everest. It's very, very big. It is an absurd challenge. I have been trying to beat it for like 15 hours, I think, and I've gotten like halfway, like a little over halfway, before falling down and losing quite a bit of my progress. It is absurdly hard. It's really fun though. It's like, despite it being so infuriating sometimes, I just want to keep going back to playing it. It's just so cool. It's such a cool game. It's not fair. I don't know why it can be such an asshole, but it's still so fun to play. Okay, so now we want a couple extra materials. Let's get building exterior. And then, yeah, we're gonna want checker, wallpaper, and dark wallpaper, and ceiling purple. We'll accept, let it run. Also, any news on consistent juice gain when killing enemies with the death plane? I have forgotten to do that. I need to do that. Thank you for the reminder. I'll actually take a note of that. Make sure juice gain is consistent. Oh, this stream is doing the thing where it likes to black out again. Yeah, we'll just have this as a little backup. Just in case everything else blanks out, we'll still have that hanging out behind us. Okay. Alright. So now what we're gonna do is get some of the building parts textured, and I'm thinking these would probably look good with the dark wallpaper texture. So let's give that a try, see how that looks. Yeah, nice bit of color variety in here. It still feels very cohesive. Then we're gonna go around the outside of the windmill. And then I think we'll also grab this section all the way around. And make this the building exterior texture so we get this nice, vibrant red. And then we're gonna grab the doorways here, and we're gonna give those the ceiling purple texture. There we go. And we'll do the same right there. Nice. Okay. And now we're gonna change how we select things a little bit. We're gonna go all in group. And what this means is that we can be a little bit more precise in some of our selections here. Like so. So that way we can give the interior sections the correct floor texture. Alright, nice. And then we're gonna get all within angle. And then select the inside section here. There we go. And we're going to give that the wallpaper texture. And there we go. All of a sudden, it's looking a whole lot sharper. Oh, forgot to texture that wall. That should be rock and stone. Yeah, there we go. Okay, nice. So what section do we need to texture next? Oh, yeah, gotta get this part. This I think we can just do all as dark rock. Yeah. This will also all be dark rock. Yep. Okay, so now we need to do the interior section of here. We're gonna go back to all in group, because we're gonna get the floor again. And we'll do that here, and we'll do that here. Oops. Yeah, there we go. So that'll also be the checkerboard, or not checkerboard, but the, well, yeah, it's called checker because it used to be a checkerboard texture, but I changed how it looks because I didn't really like it all that much. So it's just the name has stuck around because I've been too lazy to fix it for 6 months. But whatever, it's fine. Not like anyone's gonna notice. Except maybe Oro digging around the files. Alright, nice. Then we're gonna grab the lip of this section. We're gonna also make that the ceiling texture. There we go. We'll just select all this for now. And this will be... Oops, didn't mean to select that part of the wall. But we'll just fix that in a moment. We'll make this the dark wallpaper. There we go. Probably make this part actually the regular wallpaper. Yeah, I like the look of that. And then this will go back to the building exterior part. Hey, welcome back, Enceladus. Make that. There we go. Okay. Sweet. Now we need to do the inside, which should be relatively quick, I imagine. And then make you wallpaper. And there we go. Looks nice and smooth. Okay. This section's textured, this one's textured. Now it should just be the interior of this building. Okay, let's grab all these underside sections. Oh, my playlist is doing that thing where it likes to it likes to loop and only run through like 4 songs. Let's run it one more time. No, it's doing that again. Give me Funk Goes On from Yakuza 1. Yeah. Okay. So we'll assign that the texture. Okay. I'm sure you guys got the drill by now as to how this operates. Something that I thought was kind of interesting. There's a video that popped up on YouTube the other day, and it's, I guess, a phenomenon I wasn't really even aware was a thing. But apparently, there's been like an increasing amount of people who are like have the view that like having a hobby is like lame, which is interesting, I guess. Certainly a depressing state, but there's like, oh, you have like passions or ambitions. That's lame. You're invested in something, or you're like there's this perception that you might be too into something, which is just a very odd idea. I can't really, I don't know, I don't get it, to say the least. Just not really something I've experienced before. I'm curious if that's something that you guys have ever encountered, where it's like people seem to think that like being interested in something is somehow like a lame thing. I know Gen Z generally was kind of, we got a lot of problems we're gonna have to work through. Like one of the big ones is just still struggling to socialize quite a lot. Like a lot of people are just kind of unwilling to go places and do things because it's scary, which, true, it is kind of scary trying to initiate. Like I hosted a party not too long ago, as like an end of semester celebration, and that was really fun. But you know, it's one of those things where it's like somebody's got to step up and do it, or else no one's gonna do it. And no one wants to be the person who makes the risk. Just me, I'm too tired of dealing with Unreal BS around decompiling. Oh, okay, gotcha. I imagine decompiling is pretty annoying. People are just too lazy to find out what they like to do, so they just take it out on others. It is pretty lame. It's very, very, very lame. I just can't fathom that. I don't know. It's hard to imagine like my only hobby being like, oh yeah, I like going on TikTok. It's like, I don't know. This is nothing that you're passionate about, that you're excited about doing. Oh, why did this happen? What? Okay, I must have clicked on a button, a weird button at some point. Okay, let's fix that up real quick. I don't know. The world is a weird place. There's a lot of dumb people in it. There we go. Now everything looks correctamundo. Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so the next step of the level making process, hold on. There we go. The next step of specifically my level making process is to go through and start adding in props and extra details here and there to make the level feel a bit more alive. So, first thing we want to do is add gloobs in. And these are very simple. They're just little pickups that give you extra combo time. Pretty essential in a lot of stages for actually maintaining combos properly. Can also be good for hinting towards the correct path or secrets. You know, classic Mario coins, Sonic rings situation. Pretty basic all in all. So we'll just go through and add a few of these guys wherever appropriate. Either in sections where it feels like a combo is needlessly difficult to maintain, so we give the player a little bit of extra breathing room, or to hint at secrets. There we go. Yeah. And before I forget, let's go ahead and put one right up here. You probably don't need one here because you're going to be having just fought 2 enemies. So we'll put one here instead as an idea of like, hey, maybe you should go up here. You know, maybe you should head up here. Maybe you should do that. Okay. There we are. put one right around here. There we go. I think we'll also put one inside of here, but we'll worry about the specifics of that one's placement once we figure out this one, which we'll do a bunch of extra props to liven this place up. Okay, so we'll fight through these two guys, then pick up another globe as you do a big launch. Maybe put one also along the launch path. So it's like you pick one up in the midair, in midair. That'd be satisfying. And just to make this a little bit more forgiving to grab, I think we'll increase the scale of it a bit. Oh, yeah, definitely needs to be quite a bit higher and also a little further over to the side. Okay, a little higher up. Yeah, that's nice. Gives the player a little bit more direction. Oh, one other thing that I'm excited to try out. So if you'll notice that typically on a lot of these levels, there were like big objects off in the distance. Like you'd see some signs, you'd see some extra doodads here and there, and I want to replicate that. I'm gonna have slightly less of them just to hopefully boost performance a bit by having less things that need to be rendered into the world. Hey, how's it going? Lol 1243. But usually they were just kind of generic like buildings or whatever. But I think it'd be more fun to have them like look like the other levels in the world. So like we'll have one that looks like 3 buildings, we'll have one that looks like Big Windmill, we'll have one that looks like this. Basically just like simplified, smaller versions of those to put in the backgrounds of other stages. I think that'll be fun. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but we'll give it a try. Alright, let's keep adding in the good old globes. Thinking a good spot to have one would probably be somewhere in between these two to like give you a good idea of how to line up your angle. To get a good sort of momentum swing. Yeah, so not there. Yeah, that feels pretty natural. Then we'll put one right here, right before this launcher. And again, we'll repeat what we did last time, where we put one in midair during the launch, because it's really fun to try to grab them as you're soaring through the air. It's a nice, small, little addition. One of those little things you probably don't really notice, but it's just feels satisfying to do. Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and start working on the props department. So we've got the billiards table, we've got doors, we've got lamps, we've got money, we've got the floating poker chips, and then the slot machines. So and the lamp. Don't forget about the lamp. Okay, so we don't really need any props out here. This is all outdoors. The props are really gonna start once we get in here. Okay. Yeah. I think we'll... I don't even really know if I want to use the doors as much. They're kind of a fun idea of, like, kicking the doors down, but generally the levels feel a little bit more open-ended, or more freeing, more open, when there's not the doors everywhere. Even if it doesn't really make a difference in terms of the gameplay most of the time, the extra visibility and openness is nice, whereas using the doors on the ghost levels makes those feel more claustrophobic. So it's nice, like, using them less here I think will make those levels feel more open. Anyways, put a lamp sprite down, make that masked unlit, so that way it just looks nice and you won't be able to see through it. Rotate you 90 degrees, shrink down the scale pretty dramatically. Yeah, just a nice little bit of detail. Makes the place feel a little bit more like a place. And then we're going to add some slot machines. Also rotate these 90 degrees. So that way the collision is consistent and even. There we go. Pull you back a little bit so that way the collision lines up. Then drag these guys across. And there we go. And I think we'll drag some of these guys upstairs as well. So you know what? We'll put a billiards table here instead. Yeah. And we'll put up a bouncer poster. Got a lot of these guys to hang up on the walls. I think I usually put these guys at 0.3, 0.3, 0.3 scale. Usually looks good. And then make sure that the collision is set to none. Just barely poking on the wall. There we go. And then this is pretty fitting. We could put like a Gunther one here and a Sheila one here. And then maybe have another one right here. Help make the room feel nice and whole. Whoop. That's not what I wanted to do. Get rid of that. Making it look like a Mario 64 ROM hack from the year 2004. Alright, so once again, rotate you. Masked, unlit. Coolio. Then we're going to shrink the scale down. And there we go. Yeah, and we'll do that one there. And then... oh, I forgot I can just duplicate these, actually, and then just change what the source sprite is. Flip this guy around. Then... Sheila... Post... did I spell it wrong? Sheila Poster? I think I did spell it wrong on one of those. Hey, whatever. We got our nice little poster here. Yeah, liking the feel that brings. Okay, and then we're going to... now we need to decorate the inside of this building. And I think that it's pretty natural fit to do a Steve Strike poster since he's hanging out on the roof there. And oh, I didn't even think about it, but we're probably going to want to add a poster for Jimmy since Jimmy's here now. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Jimmy and Card Counter should probably both get posters as well. I'll just pretend I didn't forget about these streams and I know what's going on. Sounds like a good plan. Okay, so we copy-paste this poster over. And I'm thinking that we put this guy right against the wall here. So it's like the first thing you see when you walk in through the door. Set that to Steve Poster. There we go. So we walk on in, we see him. We'll have probably a couple rows of machines here to really sell the gambling atmosphere. And just to save ourselves a little bit of time, we can just copy paste a couple of these guys we've already placed down, so that way the spacing is about where we want it. And we'll rotate it to... oh, never mind. Yeah, it's not really gonna work, because it's... yeah. Okay. Well, ignoring that, we'll manually reline these guys up. These guys on the floor. Drag them out a bit. And we'll do maybe another line of them right here. Yeah. And then we'll grab the lamp from this room, and we'll similarly bring this on over and install that into the ceiling. I'm gonna get usually about half of that in. There we go. And that should add just a little bit more detail and life to this room. Yeah, so now it feels more like an actual room and not just a assessment of assets. So I might even put some little walls here or something to make it feel a little less random. Because they do feel a little disconnected in their current state, to be blunt. Sorry, I'm doing the thing again where I just stop talking and start playing the game. Okay, now we're... Actually, let's get rid of that one. Now what we're going to do is work on postering this section here. And we'll start by putting a cuboid poster right here. And then we'll also do a Steve poster, or a Slapmo poster, rather. There we go. I think that'll be that'll look nice from this angle. Yeah, quite like that. Quite like that. Okay. And then we'll add a billiards table right here. I think I'll even go ahead and add 2. And then we'll get a slot machine here and a slot machine here. Let's grab the Z-axis, and we're going to copy-paste that from one to the other, just to make sure that they are aligned on the same level. There we go. Okay. And then, you know what? I think for fun, we'll just tie one around this corner here. Okay, feeling pretty good about that. It's got a decent amount of detail. The only thing I really want to do visually, I think, is to add some extra stuff to the background. But I think that works pretty good. On the road home from my class. How's it going? Hope you're doing well, Eraser Paste. I don't know, I keep saying people's names all slow like today. I don't know what's going on. I'm crazy. I'm out of my mind. Okay. Yeah, pretty good about how feeling pretty good about how this one's coming along. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and texture the 3 buildings revamp. Why don't we? Imagine there's a gambling guy, and if he hits you, you get hurt or get juice filled. Yeah, that's risky, because as funny as gambling mechanics can be, this is a speedrunning game, and I know Oro would probably kill me if I added any luck-based elements to the game. Actually, the mesh on this part's a little clunky. I think we can clean this up a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if we make our blocks per step 14, then hit E once, that will fill all that in as one solid mesh. And if we go back to remesh, we should see, yeah, it is a much more efficient use of polygons. And then something I actually don't think I've talked about before is there's some really useful functions in Unreal for, that's kind of loud, for like cutting down on poly counts. So that's something that I'll definitely be using to like chunk down some of the sizes of these meshes. And you know what, before I forget, actually, I think I want to add a little roof bit here. Tends to make these buildings look a bit less flat, a little more personality filled, give it more depth, you know. Bam, 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 bam. Nope, stop. We're here to texture, we're not here to game. Okay, so let's set this to grass. Dark grass. Always does that. Okay. Let's set this to dark grass and this to grass. Yeah. Actually, I'm thinking what would be the most efficient one to have here. We'll just roll with that. Whatever. Okay, and then we'll add rock and dark rock. And we'll continue doing our classico approach, going around and just slowly altering the things that need a little bit of adjustments. That way it looks correct. This is a pretty like therapeutic process, all things considered. I think placing down props can be a little annoying because there's a lot of very like finicky adjustments you gotta make. But just like going around and altering the textures is just kind of relaxing. It's very like simple. It's like a paint by numbers kind of thing, you know. I don't think I've ever done any of those, but I feel like it's probably the same appeal, you know. Just slowly watching things fill out a little bit and get more detailed and correct looking. Okay, and then we're going to. Is this the only? This might be the only instance of using dark grass in the entire map. Is this one slope here? That's funny. Okay, but now on to the actual part that's going to need texturing. Let's go ahead and get the building exterior and checker. Wallpaper and dark wallpaper, and then of course ceiling. Okay, accept that. Give it a second to load. The topology of a plane should be 2 triangles, so it is currently off if those black lines are indicating triangles. Oh yeah, it's not an efficient mesh. Don't misunderstand. I'm not claiming that it is. Yeah, like these are the triangles. So yeah, the meshes are way higher tris than they need to be. But this isn't what actually is being rendered. What's actually being rendered is much more efficient than this because of Unreal shit. And having these be as high tri as they are makes editing them and changing them really easy, whereas the actual rendering versions are like 1/10 of the size and 1/10 of the tris. Okay, so let's get working on the material editing. Does anyone else hate it when your chunk unloads while you're chilling and you have to respawn? Yeah, it happens all the time. Alright, there we go. That to building exterior. Don't think we're going to be needing to use this all too much in this map. Outside of, well, I guess it'll be pretty prominent because it is being used on all the exterior meshes, but I think these ledges should actually be the other color. Yeah, I think that'll look a little bit better. Yeah, like these, I think the roof, I think, will be checker across the board. Yeah, and then I think this little ledge here, these lips should probably be, I'm thinking. I think these we want to probably do building exterior. Yeah, I like the look of that. It gets optimized afterwards. That's good. Yeah. Don't worry. It's not. I'm not shipping out models that are that needlessly high detailed. I don't know if this is true or not. Did you guys see the there's like a Garten Band thing, where it was like the model for like a little remote thing that you hold at like all times. That's like always on screen. It's like 100,000 tris or something, or 100,000 polys for like a very like a box with a button and a sphere on it. Like very simple model. And it was just like absurdly high poly count. And honestly, I can kind of see how something like that would happen if you just like, because like the first version of this game certainly had much higher poly count models than needed to be there. So I can kind of understand how that would happen, but I just don't understand how the polys are that high. That's just like a big number. I don't know why I'm talking like a caveman now. So this is scaffolding, and I'm thinking about giving it a new texture, but for now I think we'll just try giving it the texture of the usual, like, ceiling aesthetic. The usual, like, regular textures for the walls and stuff, and see how that looks, before we worry too much about altering that. It actually is, though. They're subdivided in Blender a crap ton. Okay. What is stupid? I mean, shouldn't it be just as simple as, like, spawn in a box. So, like, what, 1, 2, like 2 tries per face. So it should be 12 tries, and then a sphere, which you just spawn in the sphere and then, like, lower the quality of, like, what, I forget the exact term for it, but, like, you can just spawn it in as, like, not actually having that many faces. Like, it's not like a very particularly difficult thing to do. It shouldn't be that difficult, I don't think, to make that model and make it not super high detailed, especially for a game that's, I don't know, not exactly the most crisp visually. Is that all the ceiling sections? That should be all the ceiling sections. Do we do the interior of this building yet? No, we have not. That's why we check. Yeah. Okay. Looks good. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot about the doorways. I was just looking at them. We gotta do these guys. There we go. I do want to do more 3D modeling. Maybe that'd be fun. It's like, if any of you guys know anything about 3D modeling, like, there'd be like a 3D modeling stream. Maybe learn a bit from people who know more about what they're doing. Because I certainly do not know what I'm doing. I've fiddled around with it a decent bit. I've tooled around in Blender and had my fair share of fun with it, but nothing I made was particularly refined, shall we say. How did I texture the inside of this? Was it all... Yeah, okay. That's right. Okay. Okay, let's do all in group for now so we can get the floors taken care of. Yeah, we'll just get these floor sections that are gonna, like, spill out onto other areas. There we go. Then set those to checker. Nice, okay. Then we'll go all with an angle, and then select the rest of the floor textures here. Then assign all of those. There we go. And then grab the walls here and make these guys wallpaper. And then to give a bit of contrast and have some nice accents, we'll grab these little interior sections here, and we'll paint all of these with the dark wallpaper. That should look pretty good. There we go. All right. So now let's paint the outside. So this section, I think these will all be the dark wallpaper, as well as the lip here. Yeah, I think that'll work. This wall will be probably just exterior. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Should be one building down. Oh, just noticed a section. Cannot slip away from my grasp. There we go. Cool. You know what? I think we'll even do this section to make that the dark wallpaper as well. Yeah, looks a little bit nicer. And while we're at it, you know, might as well. Okay. Yeah, liking the look of that. Just need some props and posters and stuff. next stream, creating 3D Gunther with realistic eyes. Server model with preset animations and also the ability to come out of the screen and kill you. Okay, let's do the little starting building here. So these will be the dark wallpaper. And then make that ceiling purple. Make the doorway ceiling... Sometimes I wonder what goes on with the triangle generation, like how it does this shit. Like, man, it really does need that that post whatever it's called optimization. LOD, it's a level of detail. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Okay, why is this all one group? Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to do something a little painstaking and just select all of these by hand. I guess we can just paint it all and then not really worry about if we get the walls or not. Because we can just paint back over the walls later. Yeah, this is one of the major downsides with the cube grid, and why I do intend to move past it with my next project, is just because it does have quite a lot of quirks when it comes to how exactly it will generate your geometry, and it does work pretty well, especially as as somebody who doesn't really have a lot of experience in 3D design. It's a good like starting point, but you know, definitely not something that you should be sticking with for forever. To be sure. Yeah, it's like that. It's like, why does it have so many tiny polygons there? It's nuts. No, there's gaps all over the place, I'm noticing. No. It's like, why doesn't it just do it here? It's so strange. Why do you do that? Why do you do the things that you do? Look at this disaster. This is a mess. This is a mess of polygons. Why are there so many of them? Why are there like a billion of them? What happened here? What happened? How did it do this? Didn't I just remesh this section? How did it get this fucked up? Okay. I think I'm gonna have to fix this. Like, this is a mess. But there's a single level that was fully 3D, like the enemies are 3D. That would be a lot of work for a one-off gag. Because the levels are, you know, 3D. Basically, the props could be 3D. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I noticed that these buildings feel a little bit flat from a distance especially, so I'm gonna add some extra lips to the top of the building, just to make it feel more complete, and it should, we can also make these a different color, so that way the whole thing feels a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more varied and interesting to look at. Oh, still on brush. Go back to all within angle, and then we're gonna turn all of these guys into the dark wallpaper texture. You guys should be fairly familiar with this whole process by now, I imagine. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's looking a whole lot nicer. And there you go. I think we're gonna need to do, yeah, gonna need to do these sections. And make those ceiling purple to match. Alright, nice. And I believe, yeah, now we just gotta do the interiors of these two buildings. And you. This specific one section that I forgot. There we go. Oh, and you. Okay. Maybe I just shouldn't say that. It's like, okay, now we can do this, because I feel like every time I do, I'm instantly and thoroughly proven wrong. Okay. So all of these bits here, thinking that these should be the dark wallpaper. Same with this post here. I think anything that's like a big stick, I wanna just make the dark blue. Anything that's jutting out from the wall. All the walls will be the light blue, and then anything that juts out will be a darker blue, which will help to make the contrast higher and also just makes everything look a lot nicer. That was probably one of my favorite subtle changes that I made in between demo releases. Was I changed, like, Big Windmill used to be all blue on the inside, but then I made some changes so that I added a darker blue. Although actually, I think I might have done that pre-launch. Actually, now that I think about it, that might have been a pre-launch thing. I'm not actually too sure. There we go. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now let's get working on the floor. That should be nice and quick and easy. I need to remember if I have a dark version of that texture, the checker, because there's a lot of slopes that I should definitely be making a different color. And if I haven't done that yet, then this will be a good time to do that and also update that for Big Windmill. Okay. Now we move on to this building right here. And we'll do the usual. Just going around selecting all the parts that feel like they would benefit from a bit of contrast. And this one's going to be a bit finicky. Got to get all these corners and edges, and I'm sure I'm going to miss a few. Gonna have to come back to this one and alter some stuff, but that's just how it goes. Oh, just realized the playlist looped again. Gimme Xeno Arcadia from Hylix 2, please. Turn the volume up on that a little bit, because you guys deserve to hear that. This is genuinely one of my favorite game songs of all time. It's so good. It's also a very good game. I would really recommend Hylix 2. It's just like from an art perspective, one of my favorite video game experiences. It's not the best in terms of gameplay. It's fun. It's just not like amazing. But like an artistic direction level, it's just on another level, man. It is so cool, and I love the music. The music is just fantastic. Such a cool game. Such a cool game, man. You guys gotta go play it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we will select all of these sections here. Make these the checker texture. There we go. And then grab the rest of the regular wallpaper sections that need just a good old wallpapering. And do that. There we go. Oh. There we go. Oh. There we go. Oh, hold on. Okay. Gonna stop saying that now. Oh, and I gotta do this section. Okay. Is everything good? Yeah, everything looks good. Alright, so this will be dark wallpaper. This will be dark wallpaper. This will be dark wallpaper. All this will be dark wallpaper. This will be... This will be... I think the top of them should probably all be checker. I think that'll look probably the best and most consistent, most likely. Maybe make it the wallpaper, the light wallpaper, so that it's a little more cohesive. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I think the checker will look good. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Thing with this should be pretty much the whole section texture. The only thing that really is going to need work now is the last sections that I literally forgot about because I am stupid and should not say things. Dude, how do I keep missing giant chunks of wall? There we go. Sorry, I haven't looked at chat in a second. Alex is amazing. Let's go. Big fan. Big fan of you being a big fan. So I just read your chat, Eraser Paste. Void Collector 2 Estrogenic Resurrection. What does that mean? I'm fairly confused. Oh, I forgot about this section too. Damn it. Like that. Dark paper. There we go. Okay. Now look at that. Doesn't that look all nice and cohesive? There we go. Okay, let's give this level a run through. See, yeah, this floor section is that's not gonna stay. I'm gonna have to remesh that. Let's see, it's very, pretty aggressively red. I might even want to flip the color palette for one of these now that I'm looking at it, just because it is so like predominantly like red and blue. Like maybe for this section we put the blue on the outside and then the red on the inside, just so that it's like this one and this one we could like flip the colors and keep this one with the red on the outside, blue on the inside. Because I think that could be a good bit of contrast. That might be worth exploring. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to the props section and start adding some of these fellows in. On the one section I just remembered is that I have not done anything with the roof yet. I still need to do that. Later problem for a later day. Windmill. Windmillionaire. There we go. We're gonna grab the sign for our casino. Drag this guy up here to make it pretty big. I'd say 1.7. Oh shoot, I might have to end stream soon. I'm smelling. I think Dad is cooking something up in the other room. I'm home, by the way, for break, which is very cool. You should be seeing a lot more progress from me, because I have a lot more time to work. Masked, unlit, sprite material. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks quite nice, as a matter of fact. Now the question is, do I add another windmill blade? What if I had 2 windmill blades, like one on each side? That'd be different. Do you know ENA, and most importantly about the game? Doesn't sound familiar. Oh no, I've seen this character before. Yeah, I don't really know what it is, but I've definitely seen this quite a bit on the internet. I didn't know there was a game, Dream Barbecue. I don't know what's it like. What's it about? I'm always down to play some whack-ass indie games, as a maker of such whack-ass indie games. Let's start adding our props in here. Let's get a slot machine down. And let's get another slot machine down. There we go. I was just talking about how maybe I don't want to use the doors that much on this world, but this is a section where I think the door is really fun. Kicking the door down as you dash through the level is a lot of fun. It's a really cool like opener to a stage, so I definitely want to keep that part. I just think maybe it's not as, I don't want to overuse it, because I think maybe I had it a little too often in some of the other stages where it's just like there's a door every 4 feet. But I think having it in a context like this is fun. Oh. Why is it instantly breaking? Is it colliding with something? It shouldn't be. Is it the mesh? Is that what it is? Particles. It's also spawning way more particles in it. Okay. Yeah, I'll fix you later. Probably put a gloop in front of each doorway, and then we'll just have them littering the path upwards. Didn't come out, but it's promising. And wacky like it's promising and wacky like highlights. You watch the trailer? Okay, I'll make a note. It's like Void Collector if you sucked up all my contrarian strangeness into a syringe and injected it into the game. It's like Void Collector but bad. Which one are you talking about? Hey, Mr. Jonas, how's it hanging? You might be a little late to stream. I'm probably gonna end soon because I'm hungry and I think food is being made. But we're gonna make as much progress as we can before that time hits. So unusual. Yeah. So let's get cracking before it's time to get cracking and eat some eggs. I think that's what's being cooked. It smells like eggs. I love me some eggs. I do want to find a more. I'm sure there's ways to do this. Like 100% sure there's ways to do this. But one of the things I'm going to be doing post Void Collector is just like doing an even deeper dive into how Unreal works and just trying to understand things a little better. Also, maybe learning Godot. We'll see, because Godot is the other engine I'm most interested in picking up. But I guess that kind of depends on how the game does. Like if Void Collector does really well, then I can afford to take my time and like learn a bunch of new skills. But if Void Collector doesn't do well, then I gotta figure out what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, then we'll put a billiards table here. Put a couple of billiards tables here. And you know what? We might as well get started on the good old signage. I should say you did -90. Yeah, looks better. Then masked unlit. Collision is set to no collision. There we go. Now this place is suddenly feeling a little bit more lively. Then we'll do the same on this side. There we go. Set your rotation to regular 90, and then set you to Steve Poster. Yeah, I like the look of that. Then I'm thinking we do one more poster right up here. That should look nice. Let's put the Gunther one here. Gunther poster. Yeah, look at that. All of a sudden, this place looks so much more alive than it did before. Not nearly as empty. Okay, then we're gonna drag in the lamp sprite. Set you to, I believe this is also 0.3. Yep. You know what? We might even make this a little bit bigger. So it's in a much more wide open area than the others were. Is anyone even gonna see that? Probably not. It's tucked all the way up at the very top of the map, so I doubt people are really gonna notice that, except for maybe if they jump up here. And you got plenty of space to work. Okay, that works. What if one of the future worlds had like some sort of sticky walls? Oh, like a wall jump sort of thing? Okay. That'd be interesting. I should excessively flesh up Estrogenic Resurrection, and if you really wanna. Make a Jimmy double poster, since he's the... Oh, funny you should mention that. I was talking about that. Him and Card Counter both need posters now. Which is very true. He does need a poster, and so does good old Card Counter. And you know what? Before I forget... Okay, there we go. So, in case you missed the earlier portion of today's stream, the main goal was to work on a new mini-boss, which we have done. We did that earlier. And here he is. His name is Card Counter. He flings these slightly slow-moving cards at you that are pretty wide. Can be a little tricky to dodge. I think I'm going to disable his ability to take knockback, now that I think about it. But, yeah, that's what he does. That's his gist. That's his jam. Let's get rid of Shotgunned and Dragoned. Another thing that I've mentioned is that knockback is no longer a thing that can be applied to... Well, knockback cannot be applied to certain enemies, but the fling is the only thing that can still apply knockback to everything. And the detonator, I guess. But that's expensive. Okay, I need to... I think I need to reduce the push force that that has, because that is clearly a little bit excessive. Okay, let's try my stupid idea. Will this rotation work properly? Yes or no? Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. It does! It works correctly. Okay, sweet. I was 100% sure that that was not going to work, but it did. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Now that makes this place feel a little bit more lively. And I've got an interesting concept. Would we set this to -90? Does it rotate? Yeah, there we go. It works. That works exactly the way I wanted it to. It's a little hard to read what's actually happening with it, so I might still make some tweaks, but I like the aesthetic that brings. It just might need some extra changing and nudging here and there. Okay, well, I can smell the food. It smells very tasty. I'm hungry. Yeah. So I am going to. Oh, hey, Century178. Thanks for stopping in. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it for today. Thank you everybody who decided to show up. Appreciate it. Today felt a little livelier than normal, so that's always cool. Hope everybody enjoys their winter breaks if you're on them. Hope you get to winter break soon if you're not on them. And I will see you guys next week. Have an excellent rest of your evening.